Hello, everybody. How are you? It's good to see you. Monty is backstage. Hello, my love. How are you?
Good. How you doing, darling?
Oh, God damn it. Now I can't hear you again. Okay. Um, all right. Look, everybody else in the chat can hear you. So this is what I'm going to do. Because you and Monty are going to be primarily speaking to one another, I am going to do a brief intro and then I'm going to let you and Monty talk. I'm going to set you guys up with some questions, and then you guys can go ahead and do your thing. Why I cannot hear you, I don't know, but anyway.
I'll go
All
out and
right,
come back in.
let me bring Monty in. How
I'm
you
gonna go
doing,
out and come in.
Monty?
Hey, I'm good.
And I cannot hear Monty. So, all right, so here is my brief little intro. In the description box of the stream, I've posted a link to a book that I've been reading for what seems like an eternity called So You've Been Publicly Shamed by John Ronson. And in that book, he goes through a bunch of case studies of people who have been caught on the internet, either tweeting out something incriminating or embarrassing or just stupid, who have then been subject to a tirade of abuse by internet mobs who have ended up losing their jobs, who have ended up in a lot of trouble, and who have taken, in many cases, years to get their reputations back.
Hmm.
So, in one case study, John Ronson interviews a woman named Mercedes Hafer. She's an internet user and a 4chan denizen who spoke to the author about the public shamings of a woman named Adria Richards and a man known as Hank. When Hank and a friend made lewd comments at a tech conference, Richards took to the internet to post pictures of them and shame them. Hank was publicly shamed and eventually lost his job, and when he did, men's rights activists on platforms like 4chan started shaming Richards, calling for her to be raped and murdered.
Oh God.
Hafer's blasé approach to the internet's desire for shame and violent speech surprised the author, but Hafer suggested that the remote nature of the internet led many users, especially on platforms like 4chan, to see one-upping one another's egregious language and bad behavior as a kind of game. And this is where we now go to Monty. Monty, even though I'm afraid I cannot hear you, I want to welcome you. Thank you for being here. And I just wanted to let you know that I had, before getting involved in your story, I had hung up my spurs as someone who goes out to defend people on any platform because I've been burned and backstabbed so many times that I decided that I'm going to stay out of certain situations, or all of them actually. And the reason that I got involved in your case was because A, it started to sound very, very familiar to me. And I thought, where have I seen this before? Oh, right. My man. Negz went through the same thing. And wouldn't you know that it was the exact same cast of characters who came for Negz and used the exact template. Everything from exploiting the death of a loved one and using that as a way to pound somebody down and demean them, to making accusations of criminal activity that were never proven, to basically just smearing and ruining that person's reputation. So, Negz, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn the discussion over to you,
Okay.
and you and Monty can chat, and I'm going to go to a place where I can actually hear what the hell it is that you guys were saying.
Okay.
So, anyway, I'm going to mute, and you
All right.
guys carry on.
All right. Hey, Monty, how's it going?
I'm all right. How are you doing?
Good. Yeah, she is correct. And for those of you at home watching, Monty and I are both content creators on YouTube, and we both cover. You cover basically Dragon Lord Frodo and the Fatmosphere, like I like to call it, Girl World.
Yeah, pretty much. I try and cover as much people as possible, but it's very hard to keep up with a lot of the girl verse, especially when everyone's streaming for hours, right? It's extremely hard.
Right. And for some reason, and my some of the people who came for you during a difficult time in your life had also dogpiled me in 2018 when I was going through a difficult time. We'd Monty and I both experienced a loss of a loved one, and these individuals used that as an opportunity to come in and I guess basically I don't know what is so threatening about us exclusively that requires that level of smear. Um, but the reason I bring that up is because those people ended up, one of those people, Yaba, the YouTube Underground, ended up venturing over into Gora World. And that's where I caught up with her at. So it was very interesting to see her trying to jump in on that train on you as well.
Yeah, it seems the girlverse has a penchant for not liking straight guys
Yeah,
because people have literally come out and said it like this space isn't for straight men.
that is so bizarre to me because I don't understand why. Because okay, let's take Miss Hussey for example. He's gay and he failed miserably, and he's like not welcome in any community because of how vile he is. So I don't understand what sexual preference has to do with giving opinions on locales. I don't understand that. Do you have any opinion
Right.
on that?
Not really. It's just bizarre how some people can say just really mean, nasty untruths about somebody and just act like it's just okay.
Yeah, yeah, and use that as a contention to try and discredit you from calling out other bullshit. It's weird. Um, One of the things I've noticed about Girl World, and this is indicative of what's happened to you and I, is a lot of them try to make themselves part of the story, um, albeit by proxy of the cow tipping, or by proxy of like a reactor, like such as yourself or me, and that's always intrigued me. So when I saw the Gaining Ground, I have a history with him.
Hmm.
Uh, and when I saw what he was doing, my the hair stood up on the back of my neck because I heard him critique. The man literally critiqued how you announce the passing of someone. Like, what even is that?
Right? It's like, oh, like how can you, critique that, to be honest with you? Like how can you say, "Oh, you didn't grieve well enough or you didn't grieve long enough or why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that?"
Mhm. Yeah, and I don't understand that. I told him when the time came for him, I'd be sure to critique his announcement because we know he's going to do it. I don't like the guy. He's been doing a lot more behind the scenes besides what he did to you. He's been really disgusting. As you saw, he's been caught soliciting people for because he tried to accuse you of unspecified crimes, which were not true. I know. The only reason you landed on my radar was a video of you with there's no context to it, and I guess you were moving some chords or something.
Oh yeah, the whole cat thing. I mean,
Yeah.
that video didn't look good, to be honest with you. But that to if you knew me in real life, you'd know I would never harm my cats.
Right.
My cats are my world. But yeah, what happened was that one of my cats, Martha, likes
Mhm.
to be with me 24/7. Like literally, as soon as I wake up to when I go to bed, she is around me. So I decided to get her a heated pad underneath my desk. And then I have my cords that hang down, but
Yep.
for some strange reason, instead of taking, the roundabout way to get to her heated cat pad, she sometimes pushes through the cords. And when she does that, it can hit her on her head. It's
Yeah.
almost happened before. So I get really sketchy when when she does that. And this one specific time during a stream, she pushed through the cords, and she disconnected my mic, and then my audio interface nearly smashed her in the head. So I had to, grab it quickly, and it
Right.
seemed like I did something to my cat, but I wasn't. I was actually saving my cat.
Right. Yeah. With no context. I mean, I was
Yeah.
guilty of covering it out of context, but I retracted my initial report and apologized. And then shortly around that time that I saw This Buddha bitch. Wow. Never trust anybody with bangs like that. That's all I'm going to say. She came out of left field saying she was revenge porning you. Right?
Oh yeah, that whole situation, man. I can't believe somebody would like put in a, like if you're gonna talk crap about somebody, don't put an alleged attack of somebody else in the video to rile up people's emotions, because that's what she was doing at the onset. She was riling people's emotions up by putting in a video for alleged attacker allegedly attacking her to to get people on the hate train and all that negativity pushed towards me. So what she would do is talk about me, then put in the attack, rile
Mhm.
people up, and then talk about me again. So then all that negativity gets placed on me, and that's what
Right.
she's really good at, is the manipulation. There's a lot of people in this girl verse that's really good at manipulating people. They're really good at knowing how to get people's emotions riled up.
Well, yeah, and they're good at riling up the sycophants that exist in their little hug boxes,
Yeah.
because a lot of the things that they're trying to rile people up are absurd. I've literally watched these individuals go live, condemn somebody for something, and to turn around and do it 2 seconds later.
Right.
Um, so what caught my attention with that Buddha bitch situation was that she shared a picture of a penis that was not yours, right?
Hmm.
And it had a phone number on it. So she not only doxed somebody, she revenge porn somebody. Actual revenge porn, guys. Actual revenge porn. Actual picture of a dick. Okay, it was couldn't identify the person, but anyway, the gaining ground. The guy who decided to accuse you of unspecified crimes called the number on there to make sure it wasn't you, so he could warn you or something. Was that his story?
Yeah, that's what he said. He was trying to see if it really was me because he wasn't sure. So he called the number, and stuff happened. And
I,
I guess BB wasn't too happy with that.
oh man, I think he was trying to get his own dick pic personally, but that's just me.
Maybe
Um,
it's really Monty. Maybe Monty can send me another picture.
Right. Hey, Monty, hit me up with them dicks, dude. I guess he was really taking a shine to you. That struck me as interesting because this guy, I mean, he was going for you hard. And you notice he stopped as soon as you outed him and he got busted. He stopped.
Yeah, I stopped like cold turkey, just like that.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. Yeah. It was because he knew he was lying. But the thing that fascinates me is that in the girl world, these creators such as the Gaining Ground, French Fried Girl, the YouTube Underground, they like again they will condemn you and then do the action 3 seconds later, and their audience says nothing. They pretend that there is a literal separate rule book for the rest of society. I don't know if you've ever noticed that.
I am noticing a lot of things within the community that are what would be considered toxic. Like there's a lot of things that people do. There's a lot of manipulation that people carry on with, and
Rampant.
I'm not so new, but at the time I had a different type of idea about this community. But then reality has struck me that you really got to be careful of a lot of people, because if you've seen before, I used to be really trying to help so many people. I would give up
Oh,
prizes on my channel.
yeah.
I'd help people with their GoFundMe's
Oh
and
my gosh.
whatnot. Like you've seen that, where I was going hard for so many people every day, saying, "Hey, look at this person's GoFundMe. They're a burn victim. Could you help them out?" Just raising funds that way, to just be stabbed in the back.
And it's funny because everything that has happened to you over the last several months that we witnessed and what you're describing right now is almost the blueprint of what happened to myself. And as I used to do giveaways. I used to like one of Gigi's best friends for Straight Talking Fedora Chick. She's a creator, more or less a dementia laden Twitter troll at this point. But bless her heart, she's sick. She needs help. I say that with all the care in the world. Um, but um, what was my point? What were we? What was my point? I had a point and I goat trailed.
It's
Anybody?
about helping people.
Helping people think
Yeah.
I have crippling ADHD. I'm probably not the best for a podcast. Um, I help people. Fedora, I helped her from being evicted and sent her a computer. And then it took all of 3 seconds for her to say, fuck your computer. I'm not beholden to any of the help you gave me. In lieu of calling people around her out for shit they did. So that ended it for me. Did you stop helping people as well?
I am no. I will say no. I'm just stopped helping people with within certain maybe spheres, or just doing my due diligence into getting to know who these people are, because there's a
Right.
lot of cool people on here
Mhm.
that have been around since day one and are still cool with me and are just disgusted by what people have done, because yeah, I try and help so much people. I have been, helping people with multiple GoFundMe's. When somebody's like, "Hey, I need help," I'm being kicked out of my place, or I'm having burns, or I
Right.
have cancer, and then I help, and I was given prizes out. I would help people in terms of people borrowing money from me
Oh
that
man.
by all chances I didn't think they'd even pay back, and it's not like it was $50. It was like hundreds of dollars, up to
Man.
$400. And how
Well,
the hell, if they didn't pay me back, am I going to get the money back from them? It's just
right.
stuff like that just really, rubs me the wrong way, that you could be so generous and helpful to people. And
Right.
without an explanation, like, hey, they could come to you, but like, hey, what happened? Why is this person saying this about you? They just jump ship like that, just, turn their
Right.
backs on you. And it's just really disgusting.
And it's funny because it's always when there's money involved, it seems like it's like, for example, there's several people who, when they decided to betray me and just completely back up people who are borderline criminal, they got the saltiest because they would benefit from the benevolency of this community, because we helped a lot of people, like you're talking about. We helped a lot of people, GoFundMe's, PayPal's, Cash Apps, whatever it may be. And you talk about loaning money. I never loan money, but I give people money because I don't want it back, because I feel like that releases my responsibility. I'm not going to be emotionally attached to that money. If you don't pay me back, I'm not going to be like, you scanned me. No, I just give you money, and then if you fuck me over later, then you're just a piece of shit, I guess. But I
Mhm.
noticed that money is a huge strain. People tend to really like Hussey. He lost he lost probably 85% of his income by turning into what he did, and he's just so nasty and vile towards me, and I ain't done nothing to him. You find that happens to you with people you've either given or loaned money to?
Yeah, it's like, why would I was so helpful for you. I've done nothing to so many people, but yet they're so nasty to you, especially after you've helped them out on maybe one occasion, maybe two, three, four, five occasions. It's just different how people can act this way over the internet.
It is, because often I question um, people. I question if they would do this in real life. Like, if we were friends, if we were neighbors, the things they say, the things they do. Like, would you do this if you had to walk outside and see me every day? And then the answer is no.
Yeah, probably not, right? Because it's just different. Over the internet, people can act certain ways, be vindictive, be malicious, and, backstab. And then maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 months down the line, they want to be your friends again.
Yeah, I've forgiven a couple people over the years, and they've come back and just left again. Um, but right now, I'm not really. I have been trying to bring people to the table to talk, like Hussy, Gigi, because Gigi was my friend. He used to call me or start texting me and calling me at 5:30 in the morning to cry about all the things, all the meanies on the internet. Right? I'm serious. I'm not even lying. He called me once at like 5:30 in the morning to complain about Charlie Gold. What? Like, dude, it's 5:30. I was up because I was a single parent at the time. But I don't, dude, what? Charlie Gold, dude, I haven't even had coffee yet. Is this what you do all the
Hmm.
time? Um, so you seem to, you being a straight man on these platforms, you probably you attract women because there aren't a lot of straight men in this fatmosphere, to be honest. So
There isn't, right? Yeah,
right, yeah,
it's mostly women,
yeah.
like 9 out of 10 or more people are women. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're like a dodo out here, right? Diamond in the rough. So, um, do you find that, because I was reading you've been getting bombarded with messages from somebody, have you?
Yeah.
And they're also trying to smear you outside of that realm. Like they're saying one thing behind the scenes and going out there and painting you in another light.
Yeah, exactly. Like the same time they're making videos and posting in the community tab, they're telling me the literal opposite. It's really messed up. But you know what? My eyes are now open to what they're doing and saying, and how the quote unquote community is like.
Yeah, and being a man, it's very easy for these unstable females to accuse you of sexual ambiguities, if you will. And I know that Budabech tried and failed miserably. Not only she doxed somebody, she's a revenge pornographer and she's a liar. That's a crazy trifecta to nail in one tweet or whatever she did.
Yeah, but the effect of it all is that it takes time for this to be uncovered, right? Like time can tell all, but when it's being done to you, there's just a mass amount of people just hating on you. When
Mhm.
she tweeted that dick picture on Twitter, do you know how much messages and tweets towards me I got? I'm like, and I woke up on the Saturday, I'm like, okay, what the hell's going on now? And people are like, "Oh, Monty, you're disgusting for sending Buddha this. You're such a creep. You're weird. Why would you send her your cock picture?" And I'm like, Jesus, here we go again. How long is it going to take for this to be uncovered
So
that I
was she
didn't send
claiming that
any?
you just sent it unannounced?
Yeah, and people wake up. You're in the girlverse. Why would you just believe this? Like, it's just so ridiculous that there's many people who've been here for so long, and these types of things happen where somebody says something and it's not true, but yet they still do the same thing, which is just believe a story without any type of proof, and that is a
Exactly.
problem.
Um, so I know that. So she was trying to say you just like got your number, then you were like, "Here, have a dick pic," and that. But she's a sex worker, is she not? Like OnlyFans or something?
Yeah, she does OnlyFans. I think she does other things, but we won't get into that.
Okay, well, I have a point that I want to make based off of that. So I know that one of your detractors, the Gaining Ground, was trying to extract sexual favors from a straight man in exchange for $40. I'm sure you saw that exchange, didn't you?
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of exchanges over the past year or so trying to get Tragic to Florida by
Hmm.
any and all means necessary. Is He's such a hypocrite,
He
amongst
is.
other things.
Oh, yeah, amongst other things. Now, the reason I brought that up was just to show that he talks out both sides of his mouth. This is indicative of girl world. It absolutely is. It's crazy to watch.
Hmm.
Um, Now, I know that you had a problem with Buddha bitch. Has there been any other? Because I have had 99 problems, and a bitch was every single one of them for a while. So, like, do you find most of the defamation coming from jaded females who either got rejected or just kind of went on the hate train?
Yeah, it's like, what is the problem? Okay, if you want to try, if you talk to somebody on the internet and you try and date them, and maybe it works, maybe it doesn't work. If it doesn't work out, that's just something that happens.
Yep.
99% of relationships don't work out.
Yeah.
So, what is the problem where you try and get back at somebody by, saying really super nasty, mean things about them just because you're angry that it didn't work out?
Right.
Like, it's extremely immature.
It is. It reminds me of like before Clara and I met. I was single for like 8 years, I believe. I had dated. Unfortunately, dated a couple of viewers, which turned out to be a psychopath who accused me of a crime that never happened and then tried to act like they never said it. But in my 30s and 20s, girls did this. It was like, but it wasn't on social media. It was the equivalent of going to your girlfriend's house, having some White Claws, and trashing your ex. Ah, his dick's little, he can't fuck, all that stuff, right? But now you have these people who have never met you
Hmm.
going out online and feeling like rejected and jaded in a way that is so minuscule that it doesn't even deserve a mention on social media, let alone a smear campaign.
Right, exactly. And then people are feeding into it and eating it up.
Yeah, I know people love drama. I have managed to do this for 6 years without lying. and fabricating drama. Have I been wrong? Yeah, and I apologize, and I report if I'm wrong. I'm not afraid to admit if I reported misinformation. I try to be
Mhm.
careful about it, but it's the internet. Information moves fast. But I've managed 6 years without having to fabricate drama. There's plenty out there. Look around. Everything's on fire.
Right.
So currently, like right now, I don't talk with anybody in DMs or anything, but you got somebody. Are they still currently sending you dozens of messages and whatnot?
Yes, yeah.
My
And they're
God.
in the chat. And you know what? I haven't addressed it, but it's so once again, it's like people just believe anything that somebody posts. It's like people, there's some people that I know have been around here longer than I have, and they still haven't learned. You can't just believe because somebody says something that is the truth. There's a lot of people who will manipulate you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah. The gaslighting is out of control on the internet. It blows my mind. That's why when I was sitting back and I just saw what the hell girl world was trying to do to you, and I told Claire, I was like, this is what they did to me. It's the blueprint of it. It's the same thing. They saw that you had unfortunately lost your mom,
Yeah.
and that was like one of the first things they started going for. And I was like, wait a minute, if the dude's guilty of anything, why does that even matter? We all love people. We all die, and we all get sick or something. Everybody goes through this, and it's unfortunate. And it shouldn't be a contention for people to discredit you. It always that was. By the way, I'm sorry for the loss of your mom. I know.
All right, thanks.
Yeah. So I'm not trying to bring it up here as I'm only bringing it up because in 2017 I lost my son, and it all started because a GoFundMe was created by the city he lived in, because he didn't live with me, he lived with his mom. And people said that I stole the money. I had no access to that GoFundMe. And that's been the contention for years now, because if you go around, you'll see people referencing that stuff constantly now. And it's wild because it's so insensitive. It's untrue. And what's the point?
Right, exactly. So I guess with relationships, I really don't like talking about these things on the internet, but I think I need to clear this up because
Okay.
Purple Glitter has been saying a lot of things, and I hate to do this, but she's been very manipulative and gaslighting a lot of people, where she has been filling up my mailbox for what is months now. Like I've shown you even the screenshots. My mailbox is 100% full to where it's actually affecting my life.
Yeah, I'm
To
looking at it
where
right now.
I've been getting hundreds of phone calls a week, up to 500 phone calls a week. I would be getting from her
And
messages
this
constantly, hundreds of messages a week.
and who is Purple Glitter? That's her
Yes,
screen name. Okay.
but she would come on and say that there's no contact in her community tab, or I'm harassing her. Well, she's calling me up to 500 times a week, messaging me with thousands of messages, emailing me constantly, saying all types of weird stuff, calling one of my mods Mary a 12-year-old. It's like
Yeah.
this absurdity.
Yeah, I'm looking at that message.
But yet she
Uh,
goes on her community tab and acts innocent as if she's not doing anything.
yeah, this message it's insane. There's no reason for anybody that doesn't know you personally to send something like this other than to be obtuse and cruel,
Right?
and to make you feel unsafe. Like, haha, I'm not going to leave you alone. This is my question to people like her. What do you want?
Right. And
The
then if
que-
I do respond, which I'm not responding, she'll post it and try and twist it in a way to where she looks like she is innocent or in the right.
what I mean, like, my question to Purple Glitter would be like, what do you want? Do you want, is it attention? Do you I mean, like, because the way that I see people going in on others, I question this about Chantel and a lot of people, because some of these reactors are obtuse. Like, it's almost like they want something to happen to you. They want to see you either fall apart. They want to see you suffer.
Right,
And
yeah, pretty much. And
that's
I
weird.
don't get that. It's like, why are you so invested in trying to hurt people over the internet?
It's obvious that that their lives are empty and hollow. And I'm not just saying that because that's awfully cliche, but it's true. Because if that's all you got, like if you don't have a job, you don't have a boyfriend, you don't have any kids, and that's all you're doing. It's even worse if you have kids and that's what you're sitting around doing. But like, it's very strange because I can't think of anybody who had a normal childhood that hasn't been totally traumatized and broken that does that.
Right, exactly.
You
Um,
guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, we
yep.
can hear you.
Okay, because I'm on my phone, so I just wanted to ask Monty. Um, Monty, I first heard about you through Kaya Simons, and I started watching you when Kaya recommended you. And to say that I was absolutely shocked. I mean, look, I have said many, many times that all of us get our turn. You know, all
Yeah.
of us end up getting brutalized or smeared or dogpiled at one point or another. And we never know when that time is going to come. And I just watched you coast along on your channel. And then out of nowhere, this giant drama happened. How did it start?
Okay, I would say because that's another aspect. Like when people make these videos about timeline of Monty's this and that, I'm like, how the hell do you know? You don't know me personally. You've never talked to me, but they're making timeline videos. It's so ridiculous. But it started because of Tiny Dancer. So it's the Tiny Dancer situation. She was a mod of mine. I've explained it so many times, but I'll explain it again. She was supposed to be getting information for me because when I first started, I didn't really know much and I was trying to talk about certain topics every day. So she wanted to help me in that way. And I first met her because I was doing a Sagittarius Shawty stream about how certain individuals will go to certain areas of Canada and pick up these ladies and bring them to big cities because these ladies have all these ideas in their head about big cities, and then they get into these like really bad situations, typically with these guys, but women as well would pick up these girls and bring them to big cities. It also happens to guys as well. So through that, she offered to help me with information, I guess, farming, and from there, she tried to have a relationship. We were messaging each other, of course. I was new. I didn't know better. I gave her my phone number, my real phone number, and everything else, which knowing now that wasn't like the best idea. But when you're new, you don't know anything, right? It's not
No.
like you have anybody to tell you, hey, maybe that's not the best idea, and hey,
Right.
Right.
maybe you shouldn't get close to people. So then that happened, and it things soured once I saw a lot of inconsistencies with the behavior and whatnot. Didn't want to talk to her anymore, and then she left, and she came back, and then she left, and she came back again. Then all of a sudden, she's in Jessica Messica's chat, saying how I abused her and I'm abusing her, and I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I haven't talked to you in months. How am I abusing you? And that thing about that is just the other day she's like in trying to DM me. She was in my chat DMing me, be like, "Oh, let's squash the beef." I'm like, What beef was there? If you try to talk to somebody and it doesn't work out, just move on with your life. Why are you going into other people's chats saying that I'm abusing you when I haven't talked to you? And have I ever seen you in person? No.
Jesus. That's insane.
See, that's the thing too, is that we just go on the internet and we produce our content, we do our streams, we upload our videos or whatever. We don't run background checks on our viewers. And so,
Right.
unfortunately, when it comes to the internet, we have to take certain people at their word. We don't investigate what communities they came from, what they did before we started interacting with them. And then, unfortunately, sometimes when it's too late, you start to see things that you didn't see before. You start to learn about people's backgrounds and what they did. I went through this with Yaba. The reason that Negs and I started fighting was because of Yaba. And I knew that she had had some connection to the drama community, but I never really went into it. And by the time that Yaba had established herself in Girl World, nobody went back into the drama community to see what she and Sam had done when they were in that community with MFW. And so we took her again. We just said, okay, she's funny, she's got a cute accent, she does good content. And so when Yaba and Sam were telling me all kinds of stories about Negs, I had no reason not to believe them. And that's how Negs and I got off on the wrong foot. And it took a year and a half to clear up all those misunderstandings and all those messes. But there was a lot of drama and heartache. So even when it comes to fellow content creators, sometimes you really have to be careful. You have to be careful because you just don't know what they're up to, what their agendas are. And I mean, if we talked about what happened with Negs in that community, I mean, it would take up another entire show. But let's just say that the same people who came after you, Monty, were the same people who came after Negs, and they did it in exactly the same way. It was almost identical talking points.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we probably saved you a few years of harassment by catching on to that because you know, I want to go back to befriending people. You're talking about befriending. Most of my problems have been from content creators that I befriended. And it always came down to greed and attention because with MFW and Yaba, it wasn't even about, it was about money that I was getting to bury someone and the attention I was getting because I was completely traumatized. They resented that. And because they're content creators, they thrive off that attention and they wanted that money. I didn't see any of that money. So I don't know what the fuck they were salty about. However, as far as viewers go, I've never really the biggest problem I had with the viewer was one I dated in 2018. She ran roughshod through my community, but she became a creator in the middle of us dating, which was red flag number 648. She was exploiting the situation. But it always just seems like the creators get the most butthurt. Like publicly, like they could do the most damage, or if they get butthurt at you or they get mad or whatever, and they go running with, like you said, somebody's like, oh, Monty's abusing me. They just run with that.
Yeah, they do. And the bottom line to that is money, right? Because it seems girl world is it's competitive. You
Mhm.
know, everyone's trying to get views. There's always new people coming up, and there's always creators on the way out. Like even in my
Yeah.
short time on here, I've seen many creators no longer around.
Oh yeah, I'm a cockroach. They've started calling me a cockroach because I won't go anywhere. And I've been yeeted from every channel I get, and I don't need a channel to make money on the internet. It's not how I roll. I work in a different way, and I've seen I've seen a lot of people go, and one of the things that's going to benefit you that I've noticed is the variety. You try to cover as many people as possible. I cover maybe like my muse is Hussy because he's insane. I love it. Don't like the IRL stuff, but I like covering his insanity. But outside of that, I do a lot of comedy and music and art and stuff like that. So that's how I've been able to stay around for so long. You take people like the YouTube Underground, Gaining Ground's done. His channel's dead. Whatever. He's an alcoholic in the driveway. There's a picture of him drinking in his driveway. That's why I say that. What are they going to do when, like, because Chantel is not immortal, you know, and you can't remain super morbidly obese your entire for 40 years without having severe health problems. So what are they going to do?
Yeah, there's consequences for that, right? They said that one of the quickest way to the grave is being, of course, super morbidly obese.
Mm-hmm.
And at any moment, she could literally be walking anywhere and she could just collapse and just be done. Just like that. And then if you built a channel around a person such as Chantel, like that's all you do, what are you gonna do? Like you could survive if you have a face and a personality and a name for yourself, but what are you gonna do if you don't?
Right. Yeah, because I mean, I don't know any other content creator that makes money and has the clout that Chantel does. It's going to tolerate that level of harassment, like from Frenchie and Yabba and all these weirdos that just go a little too hard and cover. That's all they cover. Every single video on their channel is about the same person, right?
Hmm.
So it just there's nobody else that's going to tolerate that, you know, because if Chantel were smart, she would have did what Onision had done, and that was have it so when people upload your content, it ID claims it, and you get the AdSense.
Yeah, because May she rest in peace. Was it Life by Jen?
Yeah.
Unfortunately passed away, and there was a lot of channels that would focus on Life by Jen and maybe LR. And look at that, Life by Jen unfortunately passed away, and there you go. It could happen at any point if you're focusing on ALR. ALR, anything can happen to her at any moment. Anything can happen to
Yeah.
Chantal at any moment.
Because I mean, I'm a 45-year-old man and I'm not in bad health. And I could meet that fate. You know what I'm saying? So with Life by Jim, we saw that coming a mile away. That her death clock was ticking years ago. I just
Hmm.
unfortunate, but she had enablers who expedited her demise. Um, but
Well, there's also another thing. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Next.
you take Amberlynn Reed. What is she? 500 now.
Yeah.
And Chantel's every bit of 400. So TikTok.
Well, there's another aspect to it as well, which is that we've seen now that people are starting to go IRL more and more and more with the people
Mhm.
that they cover. So, for example, whether it's T and Sass calling, trying to contact or contacting the Kuwaiti police, or whether it's Frenchie who keeps on inserting herself into Chantal's life and threatening to call immigration if Chantal applies for Salah to come to Canada. It's very, very disturbing. I mean, it's one thing to just cover, laugh, make jokes, whatever you want to do. It's a completely different story to then decide that you are going to be part of their story and you are going to actively try to ruin somebody's life. I mean, this business of calling the Kuwaiti police. What if Chantal had been arrested by by the Kuwaiti police, arrested in Kuwait? I can't imagine many more countries where I would not want to be in jail as a woman. And there is no consideration, there's no thought put into what the ramifications could be of
And the scary thing
taking
is
those
how she
steps.
justified it. How she justified it by her 40-year-old daughter being doxxed. Nothing happened to her daughter. She was willing to throw somebody into a Kuwaiti prison over that.
Right,
It's
right.
insane. So,
So Monty, I think that what we have that's unusual about this particular panel is that all three of us have been brigaded at least one time. So this is your first time. So how did you handle it when it first started happening? Was it a surprise? Did it come as a shock?
Um, well, it seems it's just like you said, DC. Like it's a build up. People gang up on you is exactly what they do. Like one person says something, then another person starts saying something. Whether or not it's the truth, when the gang up happens, it doesn't matter, and then people just keep rolling with it. I'm still fighting people day in and day out that I am not a marine biologist because somebody just randomly said, "Oh, he's a marine biologist," and then everybody just believes it. It's such bullshit.
I could see that though. I mean, it's just, it's the aura, the energy you put on. I could see you working with animals. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
That's not a dig
it
at
could be
all.
worse. They could say I'm something else, right? But at least they said it
Crack
was a
dealer, you
right,
know.
a marine biologist, which isn't too bad. But I'm not. But that's the thing. Somebody could just literally just say, "Oh, he's a marine biologist," and then everybody just believes it, and that is a
Yeah.
problem in the community. People don't check facts.
No, they don't. And again, I'm guilty of having done that. But if the facts land in front of me, the one thing I don't do is deny them and continue my narrative, which is a problem. Because I mean, I watched a video somebody made about me claiming revenge porn. Never did it. Never happened. And in their video, they included a clip that debunked the next 57 minutes of their video, and they still uploaded it and still run with the narrative.
Yeah.
What? Like it's right there. You see it in the beginning of the video. It's wild. I believe they describe it as cognitive dissonance.
Right, it's the gang up mentality where they appeal to people who don't like you and will ignore facts that disprove what they're talking about. right there, and then there's still people that will still be in the chat like, yeah, 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 get them, get them.
It's like, okay. And I wish for them to start a YouTube channel and have the same experience so that they could be like, oh, this is what I witnessed. Damn it. This sucks.
Yeah, but
There are very few things more terrifying than being ganged up on by a mob who are running with lies and misinformation and gassing other people up to then join that bandwagon. And part of it is, this interest and this love for drama. Or maybe they were jealous of the content creator who was being ganged up on, or maybe they just don't like them for whatever reason they have. And they're like, yeah, let's knock this person down a few pegs. But the sort of the battering that you take mentally and emotionally from that happening to you it's really frightening. I mean, when people start emailing you or DMing you or canceling you or calling for you to be canceled, it's like something that is so out of your control. And I have to say, Monty, and I've said this before, but I want to tell you this personally. Um, I think that you have handled your situation better than just about anyone I have ever seen on the platform. You have handled it a
Indeed.
million times better with me than me or Negs. No offense, Dave. But
No,
I mean, we
none
tend
taken.
to get very uptight, very emotional. We tend to get really annoyed and aggravated. And Monty, the way that you have handled it, you're so cool in the way that you just categorically and systematically knock down every single argument one by one. I have to say, I tip my hat to you, Monty. I really do.
well, thank you so much, because you gotta take it within with a certain grain of salt. Plus, the thing is, you gotta say your piece in a very logical manner with the facts to disprove what people are saying. But the other thing is, you can't make it overwhelming to your audience, because then people don't want to hear about the drama every single day, because then they will start
Right.
to unsubscribe. So you have to have that happy middle point where you'll talk about it but not talk about it too much, because then people will be like, yeah, I don't want to hear Monty, because all he does is talk about what happened a month or two or three ago. I don't want to hear it anymore, which is what a lot of creators sometimes fall into,
Hey,
the
I'm
content
guilty of that.
defense.
I'm totally guilty of that. I've gotten into phases where all I want to do is whine and complain, and eventually I just realized that it's Gesundheit, Pebbles. Then I realized, maybe this is not the best approach. But it's funny because when I watched a couple of those awful streams that were done by people who have not done their research, uh, accusing you over and over again of being a liar and this and that and the other thing, and then gaining ground coming out and saying that you had committed crimes. And I kept on waiting, like, okay, well, where's the evidence? Let me hear it. I'm all ears. And none would be presented. And it was absolutely unbelievable. Like the fact that people can go on a platform on the internet and just categorically lie about somebody else
Hmm.
and nobody holds them accountable. Nobody's out there. Thank you, Catherine. And nobody holds them accountable and says, wait a minute, didn't you just say a while ago that somebody committed crimes? What are those crimes? Would you mind, elaborating? And you never hear anything again. Nobody holds their feet to the fire.
Right, and for Gigi to say that repeatedly and then come back and be like, "Oh, when I said he did crimes, you guys are taking it too literally." Well, what else are you supposed to do but take it literally when you said that Monty has done crimes? You expect
Right.
the evidence.
Have you heard that clip? I'm not going to go too far into it. That clip of him being sent some controversial material and admitting to clicking on it and confirming it was in not it was allegedly illegal material. He was sent it, he admitted to clicking on it and confirming it was not indeed illegal. Have you seen that clip?
Yeah, I have been watching your streams and DC streams, and I have seen the clip.
This dude wants to say you committed a crime while he's sitting there confessing to one. Like, I mean, okay, he confirmed it wasn't that, but what if it were? Then that's a crime. That's wild to me. Like, and then he's like, oh, well, y'all need to die. It's like, no, you
Right.
said it. Ah. Anyway,
Yeah,
I just
it's
want.
just ridiculous, and people still be like, yeah, don't worry about it, because they're on his team, so they'll just ignore all of that.
Wow, what a guy to have on your team. Probably too afraid to get away from him because look what he does. Who would want to be friends with somebody who you can't? It's like an abusive relationship. You can't get out of it without some kind of consequence.
Hmm.
You know. I don't know if you've ever been in a IRL, physical or abusive relationship, not necessarily physically, but like I've been with, a drug addict and narcissist, and they made sure that they were going to push me to the brink of suicide every day after we were apart. It is wild to see. So that's what that reminds me of.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
No dead
I
air,
was going to
guys.
ask you something. I was going to ask you something else, Monty. So I wanted you to just briefly go over what actually happened with the nudes that were offered by Buddha Bitch and the timing of said nudes. I wondered if you would just discuss that briefly.
Yeah, I've forgotten about that.
Sure. So what happened was, she got my number. We would talk practically every day, or she'd message me, and then around July, so even before that, she would ask me, "Hey, do you want to see any pics of me and whatnot?" Over the phone. I'm like, I'm okay, but it was the repeated asking for picture of can I send you pictures? And after a while, I think it was July the 5th. I can't remember the timeline, but then she in the message that she showed, she offered me pictures, and then I was like, okay, sure, you can send me the sexy pics, because it wasn't her first or second or third time offering me these pictures. So I was like, okay, yeah, fine, send it to me. And then after that, it just became normalized where she would send me stuff, um, even without me asking for it. And then sometimes I'd ask. I'm not gonna lie and say I didn't ask her, but the way how she painted it as if I'm just this dirty, perverted person that would be constantly hammering her for pictures, it isn't true. She was the one who originally offered it to me,
Jesus
and
Christ.
then just after a while, I accepted it.
Are we like parallel universe twins of one another? Because
You
I
are.
mean, like,
That's why I wanted you guys to talk.
this is wild. Um, so she begged you to take her nudes. You finally did, and you were like, "Fuck it, show me that ass." And then she's like, "Ah, I'm being abused." God damn it! I was sent. I didn't. I don't even know if I was asked. I can't remember because there were so many pictures. I would get sent, let's just say 8 or 9 nudes in a row, and it got to the point where I ignored them. I liked the person, but what am I going to say? Why are you sending me these nudes? I don't understand. So I would just, imagine this, Monty. You're a female sending somebody 8 or 9 nudes, and they reply, "Nice." That's it. And then the next time you send 8 or 9 nudes, they ignore you. They ghost you on it. What, you stop? It seems
Right.
like you'd stop, and then when they get exposed for being sexually aggressive, all of a sudden, I'm the problem. Okay.
Hmm. Yeah, so it's just ridiculous how a lot of things were just made up and people just kept on running with it, even with all the holes in the story. But like I said from the beginning, my story hasn't changed with anything. Like, if you look at what I've said from the start many months ago, it's literally the same story.
Yeah. Yeah, good. Yeah, if your story doesn't change, you're not lying. I mean, I don't think people understand that. That is very indicative of not lying if your story doesn't change. If your
Right.
story constantly changes, you're probably lying. Um, that's crazy. I have, I, I've never felt like I've been in a position to beg any woman to take a dick pic for me. I posted mine in my Discord last year, and the internet lost its mind. It was stupid. I'm sure somebody's a victim of that too. They saved it to their hard drive, opened it one day. At the same time, they had like a mild stroke. It's Nick's fault. Um, but it's just, dude, I don't get it. Like, I can't imagine begging somebody to see your body. Like, isn't she on OnlyFans?
Yeah, but I think it was a setup, to be honest with you. Looking back at everything, I'm like, okay, I guess she was setting me up for an exposure to build their
Yeah.
channel, which is really messed up because I don't have that type of thinking. But now I have to think like that, where what is this person trying to do? Trying to befriend me so that they can be like, oh, look, Monty did this and that. Huh? And then it seems a lot of people will just run to their channel for more tea, right?
Yeah,
So
of
now I
course.
have that understanding. That's what people do. They'll befriend you to betray you at a later date. And then they can rapidly get 1,000 or more subs within a day or 2 or 3.
It's
Right.
gross.
Yeah, it's very disgusting behavior, but it seems that's the thing to do these
Yeah.
days.
You know how I remedy that? I don't talk to nobody. I don't talk to a single solitary person outside of my chat. I have my Discord. It's behind a paywall. I talk to people in there. I do everything in the open. I don't DM anybody. I even plan things with people. I like panels and stuff. I'll do that in a comment section. So nothing could be askew. It's like, it's all right there. There's your receipts. And I tell you what, since I stopped fucking with people behind the scenes, like when I say that, I mean just being friends with them, my situation has improved dramatically. Now, I still have problems with some of these more pathological stalkers, but I don't have, people try to set me up anymore.
Right, yeah, you always gotta now worry about the setup, which is actually sad because I'm like, this is really effed up type of behavior. But now I know and understand that's what people will do.
Mhm.
Is the setup. Like you really can't, just, be nice to anybody and everybody that tries to DM you about something or start a conversation.
Nope. No example. Fedora and Hussey, those two got thousands of dollars from our community, and both of them are going IRL on people in this community now. It just shows you that those people, and it's concerning because it just shows you that those people who try to get the closest to you, how they react when they're outside of your circle, that's just how they were the entire time. They
Hmm.
they they do this to not just you, but to everybody.
Right, and like DC says, I'm not the first person for this to happen to. I won't be the last because there's always new
Mhm.
people coming in. It's the internet. Some people have a different way of thinking, like I did before, where you wouldn't expect somebody to do this sort of messed up stuff, because I wouldn't think it would be within somebody's callous nature to just destroy somebody's you know channel, erode their mentality,
Yeah.
and do so many bad negative things to them just for them to build their own channel. And that's just really messed up behavior.
Right. It's like blood money, in my opinion. I've turned down opportunities in the past to make money because they were either immoral or they didn't align with my beliefs. And one thing I could say, and I'm sure you could probably say this as well, I haven't heard it, but I haven't heard no lies proven anyway. My entire tenure on here, I've never lied to anybody. It drives people nuts because they know I haven't, because I admit when I'm wrong and I retract misinformation, right? But I can never dishonestly come by a buck. I don't have to. I've never had to do that. I could put anybody up on my screen and I make it entertaining. People are there for me generally. So as
Hmm.
long as you stay honest and stay original and fresh on this platform, you'll have longevity. This whole trend of people getting close to trying to like interfere and be part of the show, that stuff's going to come to an abrupt end.
Yeah, well, there seems to be a disconnect in the community right now. A lot of people are just doing their own thing. Before it was more cohesive, but there seems to be a lot of fighting, and then one person, one creator making a video about another person, another creator, and a lot of back and forth. So sooner or later, it's gonna become the same way as what they call the mini drama community that I learned about
Right.
a couple months back, where a lot of those creators, what they started to do was make videos on each other, and then it just became super toxic, and then everybody
Right.
just left.
Yep. Yeah, I feel like the goddamn Death Star out here because um and I will always take credit for this. I am one of the, if not the first reactor to feature Amberlynn Reed, and I helped create the drama community that Yaba came from. So I've been out here creating, and not intentionally, but like I'm connected to all these freaking community somehow. And it's not in any like I've tried to be damaging, but it's because the people therein have tried to be damaging to me, and I'll follow them into the neighborhood. I don't care. I'm like, oh, what are you doing over here? Oh, the fat girls again. Okay.
So, Monty, tell me something. Have you ever had an actual real life relationship with any of these women?
Uh, Define relationship. I did. I was IRL with Kidney J, but the whole thing about this, I kept my personal life perfect, right? I kept my personal life personal, where I never mentioned PG until PG mentioned herself. I'm like, oh crap, here we go. So she mentioned herself. That was the worst thing for her to do, because then it started a shit show. I never mentioned that I actually knew Kidney J in real life until Kidney J mentioned it. So they, because she was the one who's like, yeah, don't ever mention me. I was like, okay, cool. I won't mention you, because I was keeping my personal life personal. But then she made the video, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess if she's talking about it, I will say, yeah, she was my friend IRL, because we didn't live too far from each other.
Mhm.
So she helped me with, videographing my mom's funeral. We'd hang out, and that was it. I didn't know anybody else in like an IRL setting except for her.
I'm glad you brought that up, by the way, Monty, because I want you also to clarify for everybody the story behind the video of your mother's funeral and what happened with that and how that ended up on Kiwi Farms. What was the deal with that?
Um, it's just I family are all over the world, right? So mostly in Jamaica, but in the States, you some people just couldn't attend because of what was still happening in the world. So I had to videograph it, and then I had to put it on YouTube. I guess people searched or do whatever. You know how they are. People search, and I guess found it. Then somebody, which I am still claiming, I have an idea of who it was, put it on the farms, and I just think that is not okay. You don't put people's kids or dead family members like that. That is very crossing the line,
Mhm.
and I hate that type of behavior. But some people find it okay to do that, but yet if it's done to them, then they're all up in arms about it, which is it's just so hypocritical of them. But yeah, pretty much that was what happened. It was posted on the farms, and I had to like make the video private. I had to like even make my mom's account private, which is really sad, because why would you try and attack a person who's not no longer in this world? Why would you attack somebody's family member like that?
To get to you, um, they have passed my son's obituary around like a Pokemon card because they're investigating it. Why isn't this? Why is it this? Why isn't that? Why is this? It's like, who are you first? And do I need your permission to exist second? But they do that so it's like you said, it's to deteriorate your mental status so they can get a reaction out of you, so they can go to their channels and be like, look, pretty much.
Yeah, I think the key point of it is to get you to rage, to lose it.
Mhm. Um,
Yeah.
when I first, I don't know, I don't even know why somebody made a thread for me in like 2016 on the farms. Don't even know why. I wasn't even anybody at the time. It's weird. Um, but at first it was concerning. I fired it up and read my thread. I didn't care. Right now it's full of lies and misinformation and conjecture and other bullshit. But once I stopped caring, like I don't understand what their point is at this point. One, I don't read that shit. Do you? People post it as a source to prove something. I'm like, yeah, try again. Like, um, so it's they just want to break you down so they can have content. But I'm not going to get upset and have a reaction to somebody whose dopamine depends on the suffering of others. That is a horrible existence to live for somebody. You
It
know?
is, but it's like that for a lot of people. I'm noticing they live off, that the the energy, the vibe they get from hating on somebody and watching them suffer.
Yeah, it's dopamine. That's why I always said dopamine and ass pats. that people do this is just so they can get that dopamine and aspects. That dopamine rush is gone in 60 seconds, and now the damage is done.
Yeah, it's what do they call that again? Schadenfreude?
Yeah.
Schadenfreude, yeah.
Yeah, pretty
So,
much.
Monty, one of the other things that you were criticized for was the copyright strikes. So, what's the status of that?
Oh yeah. So I really don't want to talk too much about it, but it was a
Okay.
serious matter where it's still being looked into and being argued by an actual lawyer, because when I did try and go forward with someone's information, the information was false. So when I contacted that lawyer, the lawyer was like, "Who's using my false information? I need information on this person because that is fraud." And I even in a video put the video with the lawyer saying, "Hey, it's fraud. I got to look into this because you just cannot do that. You can't just use an actual lawyer's real information, say that they're your lawyer without them actually being your lawyer. It's a crime." And that lawyer has been doing an investigation on that because once again, it's a crime, so it's still being worked behind the scenes.
So, do you have any idea of how you would contact this person's representation if you want to go forward with this suit?
Um, no, because I've essentially been blocked. Because if they are giving me false information, I'd actually have to go forward with a suit against the lawyer that information that they've presented to with me, and I am, which is really messed up.
Right.
Because
So,
then
the point
I
here,
have to take somebody to court who isn't representing another person, which
oh
is
my
even
God.
more legalities. And then that lawyer now has a case against them and then has to investigate and have a case against the real person once they're found. Like it's really messed
Okay,
up.
so the point here that I'm trying to get to is that the accusations that those copyright strikes were false, and that you had no intention of going forward with legal action, those accusations you're saying are not true.
Yeah, they're not true because if you give me fake information, yeah, it's not true. I'm still dealing with it behind the scenes because now they've caused a serious problem.
Wow.
Damn. Well, I guess fuck around and find out comes quick,
Yeah, and
or
then
slowly.
people are just waltzing over this when I've provided several videos in September of all places with the lawyer literally saying that is not me who is doing this to me because it's fraud. It's not okay. Like people can literally go on my channel and look the end of September about the calls to the lawyer trying to verify things, and lawyer's like, "Listen, I don't know who this person is and they're using my information without my knowledge."
Wow.
That's not good.
No, doesn't sound too good to me. That's crazy.
But but I swear to God, it's just amazing when when you sit back and you kind of take a wider view. And one of the reasons that I didn't really delve too deeply into all the accusations and all the stuff that was being said going back and forth was because I was more interested in the big picture of what was going on and the aspect of people coming for you with no proof of what they were saying, or they were coming for you based on the word of one person that was unverified, unsubstantiated. Meanwhile, you're coming out and saying, no, it's not true for X reasons. And then the mob deciding to completely gloss over whatever it was that you said and present it as evidence. Um, and unfortunately, it's almost like a fever. Eventually the fever breaks, and how you recover afterwards, that's something that is to be determined. But it's a really scary thing. It's a scary thing to be dogpiled and lied about, and it's a scary thing when people twist your own words and use them against you. So I noticed that Gigi and Vicky sort of dropped the whole thing. Vicky basically left the internet for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Gigi moved on. So is there anyone who's still coming for you, who's still making a lot of content? I mean, I know Yo Mama talks about you occasionally. I don't even know if he does anymore. But have you noticed that people have sort of gotten off your back now?
Yeah, it's pretty much died down because people are seeing that there's a lot of inconsistencies that could easily be talked about. Because before it was, oh yeah, you did that to BB and you sent her a dick pic. Well, I didn't, because now that's been disproven that that I it's been proven that I did not send her the picture. A lot of things have been proven of what I did not do, so people don't have the talking points they thought they had
Right,
originally.
Well,
right.
So yeah, so because of that, people are like, oh well, what else can I say about Monty when I don't have these talking points? Because now it's clear that what I was saying in the past is not true.
what really tickles me to death is that one of your detractors, the Gaining Ground on YouTube, he had an account called Discounted Life, which was a racist, incendiary account that posted misinformation about people, and he was actually trying to make it a contention that you copyright struck a rando on the internet that whose name they don't depend on the channel for nothing. Like what? That doesn't even make sense.
Really? I didn't, this is the first time I'm hearing about this, but yeah,
Yeah,
he
I heard.
just comes up with all sorts of weird, absurd things. Like,
Oh, well, I stumbled across a community tab post of his, and it was something Monty, and it was right after he got exposed for soliciting a sexual act for $40. So
right? So,
allegedly, I'm sorry,
mhm.
allegedly.
Yeah, there's just like I said, and I keep saying, there's people just take a lot of crap as fact and just roll with it, or they take the word or the opinion of somebody else as fact. So one person says something, the other person sees it, but like, okay, it's fact now. Let's just roll with it.
Well, it'll tickle you to know, Monty, that Gaining Ground, who is the Lord God King of never issuing a false strike, issued a false strike on my channel. He issued a false privacy strike on one of my streams because I said his government name in the stream, which has been public for over 2 years.
And this was recent.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, it was like last week.
Oh, okay. So there you go, hypocrisy,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Always.
Always. Monty, I want to thank you so much for being here with us today. It was great having you. I'm really, really glad to see that you held it together and that your channel is rallying. And I will be watching. Thank you so much, Monty.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me and trying to clear up a lot of this stuff up. I'm still dealing with certain things because as we speak, somebody who I shall not name is busy in their community tab trying to bullshit again as usual. But I'm gonna leave it alone because it seems that's gonna be a constant. My mailbox gonna be
Yep.
constantly full. My tons of emails per day accusing me
Right.
of all sorts of things, and the text messages and calls. Just the same old day in Monty's life.
Yep.
100% full voicemail box every single day.
Oh my God.
Okay. Thanks, Monty.
All right,
All
take
right,
care.
all right, Monty. We'll see you.
All right.
All right. Well, that went by quicker than I thought. That was informative.
So, Negs, how much of that sounded familiar to you?
It sounded like he was talking about my experience, to be honest with you. I mean,
Right?
it was really stunning. It was almost like it's a playbook or something.
Almost like a playbook, right?
Hmm. Oh yeah.
All all right, my love. I am going to. What am I going to do here? Oh, there you are. All right, next, I will drop you out. I'll say goodbye to everybody. Thank you, my dear.
All right. Bye, my love, and I'll see you guys
Bye, my
later.
love. I want to thank everybody for being here today. We had a great turnout. I really appreciate it. Please do check out my description box for the book that I was discussing earlier. It's a fantastic book if you're interested in internet smear campaigns and how people do recover from them and some of whom don't recover. Please check it out. John Ronson is a terrific writer, and I think you'll really enjoy it. Please do like, share, subscribe. Please do like, share, and subscribe Negz's content as well. And thank you all so much, and we will see you the next time. See you later.